So my name is Carolina Ramirez, and I'm the head of Fellowship and Alumni Impact at Teach for Ghana. And my journey in terms of how I got to Ghana and why I'm so invested in making sure that all children in Ghana get an excellent education, particularly girls in Ghana, is because I myself come from a low-income, low-resource community back in the U.S. I grew up in Harlem, New York, in a time where it was plagued with poverty and violence. I went to not such a great high school, but I was part of a college prep program that allowed me to sort of set a vision for my life, set a plan for how I could make it to university, graduate from university, and sort of determine my own pathways. And that's exactly what we want for our girls and our students here in Ghana. We are looking to recruit Ghana's top university graduates, individuals who are passionate and committed about being the change that Ghana so desperately needs right now. We know that a person's socioeconomic status, particularly in Ghana, can determine where they will end up in life. And we want to sort of cultivate a movement of leaders who are going to go into the classrooms, understand the issues firsthand, and after their 2-year service can go back into their professions and their careers and be the change and be the voices that are moving the country forward and making sure that educational equity is a real reality for every single child in Ghana. So my first introduction to Ghana was when I came to study abroad at the University of Ghana, Legon, for about 5-6 months in 2009. And something that struck at my core is just coming from the United States. There are a lot of stereotypes and there are a lot of things that you see in the media in regards to Africa and the continent. When I got to Legon, it was just a completely different experience. You're seeing university graduates, you're seeing such a life on campus, but the reality is that only 5% of Ghana's population is going to university. So I was still surrounded by privilege and wealth, and the individuals who were making it to university at such a grandiose and large campus were not the individuals who are coming from rural communities or low socioeconomic communities or poverty. So that was something that always stuck with me, even as I continued to come back to Ghana and going back home. So since 2009, I've been in Ghana sort of back and forth for several months at a time. And during my graduate school time at NYU, I was able to come back to Ghana and experience the educational system from a different lens. So I was able to go and visit schools in rural communities. I was able to talk to students and really understand their concerns and the issues that they were going through. And what struck a chord for me is just how inequity is so prevalent at every single level of their educational trajectory. Most students aren't graduating from JHS, so they're not graduating from middle school, they're not graduating and going on to secondary, particularly if they're coming from low-income communities. And that has been my passion and my goal. So when I go into schools now and I see young girls who are going to drop out from JHS because they can't afford tuition to go to secondary. They don't understand the material, so they can't even score well on the BEC. Some are ending up, with child early on, and their life just seems to stop. There is no other pathway for them to take but to sort of fall into poverty. And that has really struck a chord with me in terms of just ensuring that not just every child, but our girls in our classrooms really have sort of some extra support to catapult them to a level where they can themselves determine their pathways and no one else can do it for them. And they have that choice.